Let's talk about driver burnout and how to handle it. You all know what driver burnout is. When you've peaked and you start to slide down the other side, you're physically and mentally exhausted. You've heard the expression, driving a truck isn't a job, it's a lifestyle. Well, that's true. And after a while you get so beat into that lifestyle, you start to feel guilty when you're not at work. And the way we're paid as truck drivers, which is by the mile, you're not making money unless you're going down the road. And the trucking companies want you to go down the road because that's how they're making money. And the more they can get you to go down the road, the more money they're making. So it's a vicious cycle, and sooner or later, everybody starts to burn out. Let's look at the average work week of a truck driver. You're governed at 70 hours a week, but truly everybody knows you put in a lot more time than that. On average, truck drivers work about 90 hours a week. Let's compare that to the average guy that works about 40 hours a week. The average guy gets 62 hours to reset because he gets a weekend. You get 34 hours, half of which is spent sleeping just so you can recover from the 90-hour work week you've just had. No wonder there's such a thing as driver burnout. So consider a driver's work schedule. Here he is working 90 hours a week, 34 hours off, most of which is sleeping just to recover, and he does this day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, year after year. No wonder drivers get burnout. Half the time when they give you some time off, it's between loads, but it's not when you want to rest, or not when you need to rest, or not where you want to rest. You're just waiting for a load or waiting for something else, but you're stuck in a truck at a truck stop at their beck and call. They call that off duty, but you're not really resting through that period. You're waiting for them because the body needs rest at night. Dispatchers don't usually recognize this fact, but if you're not getting a decent rest every night, you're starting to get driver burnout. Most guys don't even recognize the fact that they're starting to burn out. You start to lag and drag. You spend more time in the truck stops, fiddling around and playing pinball or whatever. You get into that truck and you can hardly force yourself to drive it in the morning. You're just not interested. You're tired, you don't want to go very far. You drive 50, 60, or 100 miles down the road and find an excuse to take a break and stop. And your whole day just goes like that. You don't make any serious miles. You're just puttering away in your day because you just can't get the enthusiasm to drive. Those are the first signs of driver burnout. You start to shy away and dislike the job you used to love because you're spending too much time in the seat. There are all sorts of bad effects that come about as a result of driver burnout. Everything from irritability and insomnia to worse things like obesity, sleep apnea. It can lead to unhealthy eating habits as well. You're pushing, you're running, you're forced to eat that fast food, and you're forgetting to take care of your health. When you're apathetic about the job and you care less and less, and that leads to depression sometimes, and that's never a good thing, and it's often long-term and serious. Don't skip vacations. Take regular holidays. Take time off when you feel you need a rest. Take breaks. Maybe get on a regular scheduled run that has a more scheduled sleep time at night every night just to get into a better pattern, or put yourself on the spare board just to get away from the grind of the driving. Because let's face it, you're not doing yourself any good, and if you're falling asleep at the wheel, you could hurt yourself, you could hurt somebody else on the highway. Believe it or not, and like it or not, these new e-logs are going to help prevent you from overworking yourself. They're going to force you to take a rest, and they're going to force you off the road after 70 hours, or as close to 70 hours as you can get anyway. But it's a good thing. It's going to force drivers to take more breaks and get more rest, and that's really the whole idea behind it, so guys just don't burn themselves right out working for the company. Owner-operators can suffer from burnout, and company guys can suffer from burnout. And it's interesting to note that union drivers usually suffer from burnout the last, when it's often independents and owner-operators that have to run their butts off to pay the bills. Those guys are the guys that suffer from burnout usually early on. I know I've been pushed over the years, And it's a rhythm and a habit you get into, and it's okay when you're young, because usually you can stand that type of lifestyle when you're young. But when you're older and they put you in a forced dispatch situation, and they've tried that with me, they've tried that with everybody. They're pushing you so they make more money, whether your body can handle it or not. And they frankly don't care whether your body can handle it. If you burn out, they'll just find another body. You've got to take care of yourself. Trust me, I'm speaking from personal experience here.